This was an old-fashioned benefit to raise money for piano scholarships at the Juilliard School in New York. The scholarships are in memory of a great teacher of the piano, Alexander Siloti, who died in 1945. Alexander Siloti is not a household name, but it is a name revered in the world of classical music.
We must restore this great man, because people don't know about him. And we must, this concert also, I think, that's provoked interest for his personality.
Mstislav Rostropovich came to play and conduct. Eugene Istomin came to perform and persuaded other great pianists to lend their talents too.
Imitation of a harpsichord, the accented
Many of the stars who came for the Juilliard benefit are Russian-born, as was Siloti. Among them were Vladimir Feltsman, Alexander Slobodyanik, and Alexander Toradze. As they grew up in the Soviet Union, Siloti's name was part of Russian musical history. He introduced to Russia the music of the West, Debussy, Ravel, and Liszt, among others. Alexander Siloti was born in the Ukraine in 1863. He studied under Tchaikovsky at the Moscow Conservatory and under Franz Liszt at Weimar in the 1880s. At the Juilliard Library, a few mementos illustrate some chapters in Siloti's remarkable story, but they cannot illustrate the tragedy he endured. His career as performer and teacher in Russia ended after the 1917 revolution. He came to New York to restore his shattered life.
The terrible things happened in this century. You don't need me to tell you about the horrors of the 20th century, but we here in the United States have had great contributions from victims that survived that revolution. We've been the beneficiaries of that.
Eugene Istomin knew Siloti as a child when his parents took him to play for the master in New York. He regards Siloti as one of the great links from the glory of the musical past to performances heard today.
Some of the things that I've done in my playing, he would have liked, and therefore Liszt would have liked. And maybe that connects me with Liszt's teacher, was Carl Czerny, who was Beethoven's pupil. That connection to Siloti, to Liszt, to that. I mean, the enormous span over the greatest eras of music in just one person.
We were all in the 30s.
We were classmates.
I was in the 30s also.
Those who studied piano under Siloti at the Juilliard in the 1930s still remember him as the great teacher in their lives. Earl Voorhees of Pasadena.
Oh, he was such a wonderful gentleman and a marvelous musician and very patient and such a perfectionist.
I would agree with that.
Benning Dexter of Ann Arbor.
A vigorous and stern teacher, but absolutely sincere and tireless.
Just as I said, it was just...
Maria Siloti was the master's daughter-in-law and his piano student as well.
He was a romantic pianist. He was a poet of the piano. And to be remembered not with any big flashiness or anything, just simple, plain, serious, down-to-earth man.
The spirit of Alexander Siloti seemed part of the Juilliard concert, as one great pianist after another performed. Shura Cherkassky playing Chopin. Gary Graffman playing Scriabin. John Browning playing Liszt. The tribute moved many in the hall on this night, especially Mstislav Rostropovich.
But that so touched my heart because so many great pianists, greatest in this generation, now participate in this concert together. Because we all understand how great Siloti.
This very special evening at the Juilliard School ended with a performance by the pianists Vladimir Feltsman, Alexander Slobodyanik, and Alexander Toradze. Mstislav Rostropovich conducted the Juilliard Chamber Orchestra in Bach's Concerto in C major for 3 pianos and strings. These Russian artists contribute beauty to the world, a beauty that endures. That is the lasting lesson Alexander Siloti taught musicians everywhere.